And welcome back to the Miracle Plant Podcast, where we share extraordinary stories from this misunderstood plant with so many names. Today, we're having back a guest and a couple of guests for the first time, having guests come back on the show to tell their story about, in this day and age of COVID-19 and viruses, what happened to them, because I know there's so much information that's going on and things like that. We wanted to bring these guests back on so they can tell their stories. So welcome back to the show, Amy Goss. How you feeling?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing great. I'm feeling great, happy, healthy, and looking forward to getting out of this pandemic and getting to the other side of it.
You and me both. We're almost here at the end of 2020. I think I saw someone that had like a Christmas ornament that had 2020, and the last zero on 2020 was a toilet paper roll or whatever. So yeah, we'll never forget 2020. And I think this New Year's Eve is going to be a very special, happy, time to be spent. So, and the reason why we're having this episode is to talk about COVID, because I know you and some others that are in our circle have experienced COVID. And I just wanted to have people hear it, from the horse's mouth, if you will, their experience of COVID. And maybe there's something that you went through that could help them and the people that are hearing this show, or their loved ones, or they could forward to someone, a friend that had got COVID, that might help them get through it. So if you wouldn't mind sharing, what was your experience, and tell us a little bit more about how it went.
Yeah, so we, back in March, along with everybody else, just kind of hearing what was happening and getting the shutdown orders and the stay-at-home orders. So while we were all told to shelter at home and stay in place, my husband, who works for the prison, they were kind of moving inmates around in an attempt to social distance and figure out how to keep that population from getting sick. The problem was they were bringing in buses with sick inmates on the buses into different prisons. So we kind of knew it was probably inevitable that we were going to get sick, that he was going to contract it from there. By the time July came, he got sick. He tested positive for COVID and started really having some strong symptoms. And then about 1 week later, I also got sick. So we both had it. It got interesting from there, though, because he does not take CBD products, and I take 101 CBD on the regular. It's like my favorite. I start my day with it. I end my day with it. So we kind of got to do our own science experiment at home and see the difference.
What were the symptoms for you, and what were the symptoms for him, and what was the difference between the two of you?
He started out with some really bad joint pain and body aches and very, very flu-like. He had high fevers for days that just wouldn't go away. The fatigue was probably the worst thing. And then when I got sick, I did not have any of the joint pain. I didn't have body aches. I did have kind of that slight fever feeling when you kind of know you have a fever, but it wasn't, you're not delirious or anything. And I had some nausea, but I was smart enough to take my 101 CBD for that, which worked amazing. I was so happy to be able to use that. And then he, on the other hand, it seemed like every time I went to check on him or whatever, he was just laying on the floor, just wherever he lay, just sick and just not wanting to move and just laying there and trying to write it out. So I felt horrible for him. His sickness lasted probably about 3 weeks.
Wow.
And then mine was less than a week.
Wow.
So it really was a big difference.
And so what was the difference between how you guys were treating each other? I mean, what was he taking? What were you taking?
He took, over the counter, like Tylenol and ibuprofen, things of that nature. Nothing really, really helped him. It was just something he was going to have to write out. And at one point he did call his doctor, and they prescribed something for the nausea, which helped him a little bit. We're both kind of not too excited about taking, pharmaceutical drugs and stuff, just because side effects are usually worse than how they help you. So he was more of a, let me just write it out and get through it. But because of the high fever that he had, he slept a lot. So I think the time passed more quickly than he even probably realized. And then, like I said, I didn't need to take Tylenol. I didn't take ibuprofen. I would take my 101 boost in the morning, which I always do because that's just a great energetic way to start the day. I think I took the Alleviate, which is more for like the pain and whatever. I probably took that once or twice. Just thought that was a good thing to throw in. And then I always take Chill at night, regardless. So I was getting a nice steady stream of the CBD, and I didn't feel good. I wasn't like ready to go and run a marathon or anything, but I certainly wasn't anywhere near how he was doing. And I was able to get over it much, much quicker. And then I could kind of take care of him and get him through what he was going through.
So when you said you were taking the boost in the morning and the Alleviate sometimes during the day and the Chill at night, how much were you taking?
I always do a half dropper. So I don't think I ever had needed to double up or anything because I didn't feel that badly. So I just did the half dropper of each, which is pretty much what I do regularly anyways. And I felt pretty good about, and I combine that with eating right, eating a good diet, getting enough sleep, drinking water, all the things that we all know that we're supposed to be doing anyways.
That's awesome. And so how are you? So you got this back in this summer. Now we're towards the end of the year. How are you with feeling closer to 100%?
Yeah, I feel we actually both now we feel really well. He also does a plant-based diet with me, so we prioritize our health and we do everything we can to stay healthy because that's so important. So we're both feeling much better now. Like I had mentioned before, I did lose the sense of smell with the COVID, and that's taken a long time to come all the way back. So I would say it's about 80% back now, but I haven't had any lingering symptoms. It's interesting though, he has still felt a lot of the fatigue, and he has some doctors that he sees at Stanford, and they told him, you should expect even months from now, you may have days where suddenly the fatigue is back and you feel it and you're still in the grip of that. And he's definitely experienced that.
So it would be remiss not to ask and see how your son's doing since you were last on here. Are there any updates in college and all that good stuff that you were talking about last time?
Yes, he just yesterday finished his very first college semester. So in the couple of weeks leading up to finals, besides the stress that all of these teachers and students are going through with this crazy year, finals week kind of adds a whole new level of stress to that. So he was experiencing an increase in anxiety, which does increase your Tourette's tics as well. So we did a free consultation with 101 CBD with Janet, and she gave us great information of how to change the dosage and be consistent with that. So he started doing that, worked really well for him. Yesterday he finished his last final, and it looks like he's going to finish with a 4.0 his very first semester. So
that sounds like that overachiever son of yours that we always say. Well, that is just amazing news. And he likes the Chill X, right?
He does. That he will not be without it. That is the product that helps calm his anxiety, and it has a great effect on his tics. He just won't go anywhere without it. I think he literally has it in his car and in his dorm room. It's helped him so much. We're very thankful.
Has he had a chance to try the new blackberry cobbler flavor yet?
He has. He likes that one. He has a couple of other favorites, but that's actually the one he has right now. We both like that one. It's really good.
Me too. That is just a tasty one, and that's our holiday flavor, and it'll probably stick around. So sometimes we'll bring a summer flavor and a winter flavor, and if people just go nuts about it, we'll keep it on the shelves. So, well, that is awesome, Amy. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there any other words of advice or wisdom that you might share with somebody who either just came down with COVID or knows someone who came down with COVID, how best to get through it?
I really think it's important, like we were saying, we all know what we need to do for our health. You need to do all the things. That's eating right, taking your vitamins, whatever you might be lacking, getting good sleep, drinking a lot of water, And I really truly believe that the CBD has made such a difference for my starting immunity. For one, I feel like that helped me not to get as sick as I could have. And then I think that it's important for people to know that when you do take it, you need to be consistent. You need that steady stream so that it can go to work and do what it's supposed to do in your body.
Awesome. Well, great news. I'm so glad you guys are healthy again and you were able to come on and share your story and just give some insights of someone who's actually been through it so others can understand it. Thanks so much for coming back on, Amy. We love having you on, and we look forward to having you on again. We're going to bring another guest on now, Connie, here in a few minutes. So just hang on tight, listen to a little music, and we'll have her on. Thanks again, Amy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Once again, I wanted to say thanks to you for coming by to the Miracle Plant podcast. It means the world to us. Please like this and share this so everybody who can hear these amazing stories, or anybody who's experienced COVID wants to hear directly from someone who's had it and how they got through it. So please like it, please share it, please leave a comment. It means the world to us. Also, we like to go through and highlight one review of the week. And this week we have one from Billabug. It has only been a few months for me getting into CBD versus what label CBD has gotten from society in this lifetime. And each time I hear these stories, they keep me motivated to keep learning. The best way to trust information you hear is from real life situations. And this is the best place regarding CBD, hemp, CBDA for the honest and correct information. Thanks for being here. Never stop. And that was Billabug. Thank you for the review, and please review it. It means the world to us, and it allows the algorithms out there to get us more noticed and more people get to hear these incredible stories. So thanks for coming by the Miracle Plant podcast, and we will see you next week.